We are here to spend 2 days in the prettiest city in Albania. Known as the City of 1,000 Windows, Berat offers a rare glimpse into Ottoman-era architecture from the 15th century. These famous white houses, stacked like sugar cubes, seem to defy gravity. And as luck would have it, we get to experience staying in one of them ourselves. A slice of Balkan history and our home for the next 48 hours. Historically, Berat was divided into two neighborhoods based on religion, cut by the Osum River. Mangalem, where we are staying, was the Muslim quarter, and across the water lies Gorica, the Christian side. After a simple homemade meal at a local tavern, we set off to explore the medieval center. Starting with the palace of the Pasha, once a sprawling complex, it was a ruler's main seat of power. Sadly, much of the grand structure was lost by 1945. In fact, we almost missed the nearby gate of the Pasha. This beautiful 18th century stone archway served as a grand entrance to Berat's old town, now hiding in plain sight. The Sultan's Mosque, or the King's Mosque, is one of Albania's oldest. Dating back to the 1500s, it still serves as a religious sanctuary for locals. Twice we tried to peek inside, but it was either locked or closed for prayers. Next door, the Helveti Tekke is a place of worship for the Helveti dervishes and feels equally mysterious. A few steps away, you'll find the Bachelors Mosque, built in the early 19th century for Berat's unmarried craftsmen. The ground floor, strangely, has been taken over by shops, but the mosque features amazing frescoes all around and a stunning interior. The residential area of Mangalem is another must visit. Much like Plaka in Athens, the passageways of Mangalem get quieter the higher you climb. We arrived in spring, and the walls were alive with splashes of color from flowers. The houses are built so closely that some corners do feel narrow. Part of the fun is simply wandering around without an aim. It's also in Mangalem where we stumbled onto the best meal we've had in a while. This halal restaurant served a seafood linguine that left us thinking about it for days. By afternoon, we found ourselves at Bulevardi Republika, a lovely pedestrian street lined with cafes, restaurants, and souvenir shops. In the day, Cafe Gimis is undoubtedly the highlight here, a popular cafe among locals and visitors. The coffee is good and prices are affordable, and we visited here many times during our stay. After a much needed caffeine boost, we made the arduous climb to Berat Castle. Well, technically, we took a shortcut that we stumbled upon on Google Maps. Though steep and rocky, we preferred it over the official route shared with cars. Built to protect the city, Berat Castle is still alive with residents more than 2,500 years later. Many locals still stay within its ancient walls, and some sell handmade lace, clothes, and souvenirs to visitors. In the Byzantine era, the castle was a Christian center with as many as 20 churches. Today, only a few remain, with the 13th century Holy Trinity Church as one of them. Sitting halfway up the hill is a real Byzantine beauty, surrounded by flowers and views of Berat spilling out below. We couldn't find a way inside, and it seemed to be overtaken by a congregation of goats and sheep. Another notable church is the St. Michael's Church. This small 14th century chapel is built into the castle's outer walls, but we decided not to make the hike. While walking around, you may come across the Red Mosque, which marks the transition to Ottoman influence in the region. Just part of its minaret remains, but it's actually Berat's oldest mosque. After a day of chasing history, we ended up at Friendly House for dinner. The inside is charming, but head to the terrace for nice views of the Osum River. The menu was surprisingly affordable, and we dived into pasta and fagese, a classic Albanian dish of baked peppers, tomatoes, and feta cheese. Then the waiter slid a surprise our way: cassata on the house, and a sweet way to end our first day in Berat. Day 2 in Berat, and we are up early, back at Cafe Gimme's for breakfast. They're known for having the best crepes in town, whether you like it sweet or savory. It's the perfect start to today's mission, exploring the Gorica quarter. This part of town became the Christian quarter after the Ottomans took over, and to get there, you can cross the Gorica Bridge. Built in 1780 from wood, legend says a girl was sacrificed to keep the bridge from collapsing. Today, there's another bridge, the more modern Ura Evaru Bridge, which makes crossing into Gorica a little more convenient. But enough bridge talk. Compared to Mangalem, Gorica feels quieter, and our first stop is the Church of St. Thomas. It's a small chapel tucked behind a beautiful courtyard. Unfortunately, the opening times aren't always accurate on Google, so getting to go inside is a bit of a hit or miss. We then headed to the Church of St. Spiridon from 1864, dedicated to a 4th century bishop from Cyprus. Inside, ancient frescoes cling to the walls, although many of them seem to have been slathered over with paint.
Weightless, I am weightless. Underneath your wind I soar.
We read about a little known trail in Gorica that leads up to ancient castle ruins. The problem is, there's not much information about it, only this Google Maps pin. Initially, we thought the trail was this nicely paved path. Wrong. A friendly local stopped us and redirected us to this scruffy weed-filled track. It's barely a path, but with our knees in the grass, we pressed on. The hike is steep with loose rocks, but it's worth it. Every once in a while, we got amazing views of Mangalem, the river winding through the valley, and the greenery of spring all around. Finally, after about 40 minutes of hiking, the Gorica ruins emerged. It's not much to look at, just what's left of a fortress back in the Bronze Age or Roman Age. However, walking around the ancient stones with no one else around, it felt pretty cool. But don't just stop here. Walk further up and you'll find the highlight of this hike. Overlooking the whole of Berat, we instantly forgot all about the sweat and tired legs. After our hike, we devoured a delicious homemade meal at Annie, a family-run restaurant at the trail's base. Just as we were done, the owner handed us 2 oranges, a gesture that summed up Albanian hospitality. And speaking of hospitality, we are convinced we found the perfect place to stay in Berat. Managed by a local Albanian family, it's a cozy traditional home tucked inside Mangalem. We loved how it's within walking distance to everything, yet secluded enough to feel like you're away from the hustle and bustle. As night falls, we are swept out in the Xhiro. This is a nightly ritual where everyone spills onto Bulevardi Republika to stroll, chat, and soak up the vibe. It's weird, but we came to Berat expecting a time capsule, like a town preserved only for show. But in these 2 days, what we found is something else, a city that's very much alive, full of warmth, generosity, and authentic charm. And if you enjoyed seeing Berat through our eyes, you'll love our time in Gorica Castle, another gorgeous Albanian town. Click here to watch that video.